noticed. I don't know if we're going to be able to do this. I don't know if we're going to get that loan on that property, if we're going to close that deal. You know, we have about 60 to 70,000 thoughts, and the most we talk is to ourselves. 90% of the things we say are about something that happened yesterday. I want us to move from our comfort zone and our fear zone over to a growth zone. Peter Senge wrote a book called The Fifth Discipline. And he said, what we need is not more information. Peter said, what we need to know is what information to pay attention to. I think we're overdosed on dashboards. Y'all know what I'm talking about? We got a dashboard for everything. Do we have a dashboard for relationships? Do we have the capacity to take in more relationships? I told our friends this morning, some of our relationships we need to send back to the cloud.
Yeah.
Y'all know what I'm talking about? I call them ants. A lot of negative thoughts. You call them and the first thing that comes out of their mouth is something about lack. It's not about abundance. There's two types of mindsets. You either got a growth mindset or a fixed mindset. I don't know about y'all, but I want to be around people who are going and growing. I love what Warren Buffett said. He said, hang around with brilliant people because you'll drift in that direction. That's why I hang out with Jerry. It's important. There are things that suck the living life out of you.
Yes.
There are people that suck the living life out of you. Things that deplete you and things that complete you. When I walk into an IREM meeting, I am filled with joy. I'm filled with energy. I'm filled with, I can't wait to check on so-and-so to see how Sabrina's coming with her CPM. She told me this morning, she said, oh, Dr. Debbie, I think I'm going to wait till October to get it because it's going to be something here in Atlanta. I said, honey, go out of state and get it done. Didn't I tell you that?
Yes, ma'am.
Alita, raise your hand. Alita's sitting right there by Jerry. I met Alita, walked up to her, and I said, I'm Dr. Debbie, how are you? And she said, this is my first IREM meeting, and I once was a real estate agent, and I want to see about getting my CPM. I said, well, I'm going to help. That's why we have the IREM scholarship. Grace, scholarship. Here's the deal, people. When you look and you take an inventory of your day, who has brought you to another level? That's a simple question to ask. And who has taken you backward and you feel like this? You know those people. You don't have to spend a lot of time with them, but they absolutely drain you. You could have run a marathon easier. You know what I'm talking about? So I want you to think today about a gift that you might give them. And I hear often about, well, so-and-so made me feel bad. See that other people's words. I hear people say, you know, somebody let me down. They didn't show up for that meeting, and I had to give the whole presentation and wasn't prepared. I said, honey, that's not your sweet spot. That's not in your zone. That's not in your target. I want you today, after our luncheon, to think about where your responsibility lies. Be responsible for you. If you saw my post day before yesterday, I said you're the CEO of YOU. Build a board of trusted advisors around you. When I need counsel, I call Dorothy. When I need counsel, I call Jerry. Jerry goes, he shakes his head sometimes. Who are your trusted advisors? Who are your go-to people? You know, Tracy and I, we don't have to see each other every day, but I can text her early in the morning or she can text me late at night, and we don't have to say a whole lot of kumbaya. We just pick up and keep going. That's what real, authentic friendships should be about. If it's not authentic, toss it out. Toss it out. So I want us to think, I love what Martha Freeman says, success based on anything but internal fulfillment is bound to be empty. People can't pay you enough, they can't give you enough awards to really fill your cup up at the end of the day. It's about what are you spending your time with? And who are you spending your time with? And I think a lot of times, I love this quote, you don't get what you want, you get what you focus on. I want you to change your vocabulary from I want to I am. When you hear one of your team members say, I want to get my CPM, I want to get this, I want to do this, I want you to say, what are you doing today? Dale Carnegie says, live in day-tight compartments. The Bible says, don't worry about tomorrow because, it has enough troubles up today, has enough troubles of its own. Live in day-tight compartments. What are you really wanting to focus on? Is it the activities or is it the result? So we're going to do a little project in a second. But I happen to say, and Jerry, you're on the board, I think, of the Atlanta Community Food Bank, aren't you? I love this quote. The way we spend our time defines who we are. If you want to know what's important to someone, look at how they spend their time. We talked this morning about your one word. If I had an activity for you, and we're going to do a different activity, but I encourage you to think about what is your one word. My word, well, actually, I think I have two. One is enthusiastic. I'm pretty enthusiastic. But my main word is teach. That's what I continue to hover over for myself. What do you continue to hover over for yourself? When I think of Jerry, I think of a servant leader. When I think of Dorothy, I think of a connector. I think of a cheerleader, a supporter, a fan. What are you known for? Live your word, your one word. When people see you, are you using your one word to expand and to grow? Look at this. The bad news is time flies. The good news is you're the pilot. How you spend your time. You can always make more money, but you can't make more time. So be careful about who gets your time in 2020. There's no shortage of people who want your time, let me tell you. A lot of times they want you to take their monkeys. You know what I mean? Y'all read that book, right? Russ, have you read that book? You haven't read that book? Brother, I got to give you that book. It's the 1 minute manager meets the monkey. People want to give you, they want to drop off their monkeys at your desk. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Karen's like, oh yeah. I want you to be careful how you spend your time. If I had to advise you, I do a lot of coaching, and people say, what's the best advice you can give me? And I said, well, number one, do what successful people do. And if you do what successful people do, they garner and they protect their time. They protect their time. This is a great book. Y'all knew I wasn't going to come up here and not give y'all some great reading for 2020. Deep work. Cal Newport says, find your prime time. All of you have prime time. Mine's about 4:30 in the morning to about 2:30. After that, I'm kind of, out there. You may say, Debbie, you're out there a lot. But you got to put your most important things in your prime time. Because that's when you're most focused. And Cal Newport says, develop a craftsman's mentality. People use the number all the time, 10,000 hours. I'm like, every day is an opportunity to improve, right? I was sharing with Robert out in the lobby. I said, Arthur Ashe, the great tennis player, said, don't worry about the person across from the net, just worry about bettering your best. The only person you're really playing against is yourself. And somebody says, well, what do you do when you make a mistake? I said, well, you just learned a lesson. FAIL, F-A-I-L, stands for first attempt in learning. So, here's what I want you to think about. Words are like toothpaste, right? It's hard to put back once the message is out. Y'all ever send an email and you want to scramble and get it back? Or you send the email and you go, God, I really wasn't what I wanted to say. Well, as we think about our speech, I'm going to give you a couple of recommendations just real quick. Number one is to always be consistent. People are trusting you and they want consistency. The second one is professional. Always be professional. Till somebody tells you to call them Debbie, you call them by their formal name. You see what I mean? Before you call them by their first name, Mr. or Mrs. Err on the side of formality. Show people that you have some kitchen table wisdom. You know what I'm talking about? I met somebody the other day, one of my students, and they had impeccable manners. I said, give me your mama's name. She said, what? I said, I'm going to call your mama. She goes, what did I do? I said, I want to hug her. And your daddy too. I said, because you know what? Great manners start at the kitchen table. It's those habits. The other one is responsive. We gotta be responsive.